My name is Justin Murray. I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, the real Atlanta, not Smyrna, not Kennesaw, not Marietta, not Austell, but in a community they call Summerhill. I had a really loving and nurturing family. Both my mom and dad were present in the house, and they remained married all the way up until my mom passed like 3 years ago. So I would describe my childhood as perfect. The community we live in, Summerhill, is like a low-income to middle-class neighborhood. The school bus would pick us up from our neighborhood and take us to these more affluent areas where we could go to the public schools that were based in those areas, and that area was Buckhead. One of the biggest differences between us and other families in the neighborhood was the fact that I had both parents in the home. And not to mention, since my mom was educated, she taught me grammatically correct English because she spoke with grammatically correct English. And so when I went outside to play, I would get questioned like, "You're not from here. You sound like you're white. Where are you from?" Not only did I not feel connected from these kids I went to school with, but because of the economical difference, but then I started to feel alienated and outcasted from the people in my own community because I sounded different. Well, during those next years, that's why I kind of started to really, again, have this sense of yearning to be part of this group that I was rejected from, of my peer group in my neighborhood. And so what I started to notice that is if I would be a little more rebellious, get in a little bit more trouble, then I would gain more acceptance from them. And this is where my experimenting with drugs and alcohol, and as well as, other criminal things really started to kick off. And it felt really good just to be part of, to get that kind of attention. And it's not that I was lacking it at home, like loving and nurturing, and I was getting all of that stuff. It was really just this peer group belonging that I didn't have. It's the negative influences won. And it wasn't like they were bad kids. It's just that they, like me, found a sense of belonging within this group dynamic. And so one of the biggest things for me that I recognize now is that decisions determine your destiny. And when I was 13, 14, I made the decision to start smoking weed. I actually got shot in a drug deal robbery setup. I got shot in my back during this wild robbery episode that we were trying to put together. And I was in the hospital for about 3 months total, in a coma for about 3 days. The turning point for me came when, I think I started to really feel unfulfilled with all my criminal endeavors. Just culturally and society-wise, we have this sense of what we think drug addicts and alcoholics look like. And I didn't look like that. And so I couldn't really process that I had a real problem up until my girlfriend at the time said she was about to leave a relationship unless I got clean. And for me, that was like my rock bottom. And I learned in the process of my recovery from alcoholism and drug addiction that rock bottom is really when you've lost or about to lose something that's more important to you than alcohol or drugs. So what I did was I started going to 12-step meetings, and I made it through my first year of sobriety, and I went back to school to get my master's degree. I have a lot of wonderful things going on. I work as a mental health and substance abuse counselor. 7 years of continuous successful sobriety, and I'm working on my licensure so I could start my own private practice. Ultimately, what I was put on earth to do was to help people, and specifically to help young black men who kind of go through this process of feeling inadequate, insecure, invalidated by society, to help them recognize that that does not give you permission to throw your whole life away. And not to mention just reduce the mental health stigma in the community, because I think we would find a lot more resolve if we had places we could go vent and express some of our frustrations to. Ultimately what I would tell people is that decisions determine your destiny. If you want to know how your life is going to look in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's all about the decisions you start to make today.